Hello again. Welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to RLCraft. So, since last episode, I have been very busy, and actually, something funny I noticed. Watch this. Oh, it's not doing it right there. Can I get it to do it? Yeah, there we go. There we go. If you go into third person, your armor, or these armor stands, I didn't notice it with these back here. They don't do it, but for some reason the dragon armor moves its arms. And sometimes, actually, yeah, you could see the golem armor breathes and kind of, does like passive movement on the armor stand. Kind of a funny little thing I noticed earlier. I noticed this because I started to start the video a minute ago, and I was gonna try to get my bugs to go out because every once in a while, Diana, which is the older of the two, not by all that much, by like 7 months, she'll snore. So if you hear her, she didn't want to leave the room today. So, and I'll turn night vision on. So she didn't want to leave. Neither of them wanted to leave. So anyways, since last episode, I did go ahead and start adding this floor that's up here. And this is actually Demon, or Lycanite's desert stone. I started to call it sandstone. It's like, no, that's not right. What's this thing called? Desert stone. And it's a combination of stone and sandstone. So, I did that up there, and I finished laying out most of this. I still haven't put down the disenchantment table. I'm still trying to decide where I want to put that, right? Because I ended up putting a chest here, and this is just kind of like tool type things that's in here that I'm not necessarily carrying around at the moment or using at the moment. The tool belt, I need to get that put on the tool belt, but it's no big rush. So anyways, this is just kind of like a little workstation. Most of our little work tables are going to be over here, as you can see. And I also had a bit of fun, and we're going to be doing a little bit of this on camera as well. But I took this door down, and we'll talk about why here in just a second. But I did do a bit of work outside, like a lot of work. It's now winter time. I think kind of early winter. We haven't had a really good snow since winter hit, but I do have the fogged breath and everything at this point. So I went ahead and just did a little bit of landscape work and just kind of smoothing out some things and moving some things. And now we have a staircase that actually goes up to here, like a proper one. This, of course, still has a lot of work to go. I didn't really work too much on the interior. I also set up a few fences over here, and I shifted our cactus back to there because I needed to move mobs around, and it was better just kind of out of the way. And sheep are now moved over there, and we'll go over there here in just a second. If we go around, let's see, let's go around on this side first. I'll show you what's over here. I moved the chicken hopper that was over here that was kind of temporary. I moved it over to this area. Oh, and these are these are going to be spewing out. That's fine. That's okay. The box that was over here was starting to fill up, so I went ahead and just hatched some chickens, and I've got some more eggs in here, and those are rotten eggs for getting cockatrice, which we'll do that before too long, I do believe. And I've got a few chickens set up on these hoppers back here that feed into storage crates. I thought those looked pretty good out here, and so I went ahead and set those up with a little bit nicer of a chicken area that's not a big pile of dirt with a hopper in it. And then our little chicken pen right there. And then out here we have cows. I actually trimmed back the Ariosaur pen and put the cows in, which I might end up doing some more of like the stone type that we did over here, but I'm not for sure. This is actually kind of convenient for these animals because I do use carry-on on them a lot. So I don't know. And then pigs, I got these expanded out. The cows, I actually had some cows right over there in the forest, so they weren't too bad to just lead back over. Ariosaurs got shifted over to here, and this is actually where some of my fun work happened. Right there. These chupacabras. Okay, so let's see. There we go. They'll attack me if I get on this and I stand at the very edge of it. But these do breed just like the tamed chupacabras. I started out with the tamed ones just because they were safer. And originally my thinking was with the chupacabras and pinkies, the way we were going to slaughter them is secondary kill methods. And so I was planning to go with this because at the time, pinkies, chupacabras, they were kind of dangerous to have to deal with too much. And so I was like, well, we'll breed them like this. We'll breed them in a tame state. And I know Like and I, there's been some talk with Like and I for a long time now about maybe making breeding a bit more dangerous to where the mobs actually come out hostile, which would actually be kind of nice, would actually be kind of beneficial in truth, so you could have a breeding pair. But as some of you may have noticed, and I can't remember if I talked about this, I think I may have talked about it a little bit in the last episode, but I can't remember because we just kind of graced on this and started it, but we didn't actually we didn't kind of finish out with animal farming because I took a break from it. But of course you can't kill these with a sword. It doesn't work that way. But what you can do is you can use secondary effects, and that's what I was originally planning on doing, was a little kill chamber where I could hook the chupacabras and the pinkies with a lead, and I could pull them out of their pens and take them to basically a kill chamber that's right back there, right? And this would be maybe, like for chupacabras, what I was originally planning on using was magma blocks, and then for pinkies you could use like pistons. And those things can kill these creatures, and they do drop, the tamed ones do drop their farmable items. So I would get leather and chupacabra meat, I would get pinky meat. And that was my original plan with these because it's safe. I can jump down to the pen and I can be like, hey, pinkies, what's up? And they don't attack me, which is cool. And originally I didn't anticipate becoming like pretty much unkillable this quick. So that was my original plan. But then I decided to just get some wild ones and maybe keep wild ones in this pen and this pen. And so we'll have one pen for breeding domesticated chupacabras and domesticated pinkies, and then maybe 2 pens for breeding wild ones. And the reason I kind of want wild ones is because having wild ones, we can kill them with a looting sword and get extra meat. And it'll just make our sheep go further than if we do it through this, because we would get, 1 to 3 meat doing it with the automated kind of passive killing systems. Whereas with this system, we would get, more with the looting sword. And so I just kind of decided to change my mind a little bit. And they're actually a lot of fun to bring into the pens. Honestly, chupacabras and pinkies are both relatively easy to get into pens. There are some harder creatures that may prove a little bit more difficult, but these two are actually fairly easy. So let's pop over here real quick. Oh, we've got a poop party. We have another poop party. Alright. I'll just kill a few of these, I guess. They do give us slowness and stuff, but that's fine. I'm actually pretty close to level 37, and I wouldn't mind hitting level 37, just because we can get our next rank of critical hits, which would be awesome. And Poop Party is actually probably the easiest of all events, I think, as long as you're not in a jungle. If you're in a jungle, it can actually get kind of nasty. And that's simply because of Vespids, because Vespids are the bane of my life. Like, honestly, a lot of people have been talking about the Eruption event and how bad it is. Honestly, I don't mind Eruption events. Eruption event has never... Let me get some life gain here. Eruption event has never bothered me all that much. But what does bother me is Vespid event. Because a Vespid event, Eruption event, really, the damage that it causes relies heavily on you just kind of hanging out next to flammable stuff and letting it burn, more or less. Whereas, because as long as you don't let mobs target you, generally it's not a big issue. So Eruption event, you avoid it. But it's not one that you have to be overly terrified of. The Vespid event, which I don't know if it's even enabled in this pack. A lot of packs do disable it, and honestly, the mod may have it disabled these days. But it creates hives, and it will ruin bases if you're not strong enough to take out the queens. It's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. And I do have the levels now to get random crits, so let's go ahead and take that. And we need 41 levels for the final rank of that. Okay, well, actually, I'll tell you what. It's turning night, so there's one thing I want to do real quick, since it is night, that I want to go ahead and just knock out. The Avian Traits, let's go ahead and make... Okay, any kind of chicken cooked meat is fine. I've got some regular cooked chicken, and honestly, I think 2 crafts of these, that's 8 of them. I think this will be fine. Let's go ahead and we're going to pop out to a plains area real quick, and we're going to go find ourselves some rocks. Madzerzer Mesa, maybe? No, that's not one of them. Crookermog. This is the one I want to go to. Okay, so we're looking for rocks, and I know they spawn in this area. I have encountered them here. Basically any kind of a plains area. This is actually where I came to get sunflowers, because I went ahead and made a little garden. Not really garden, just basically so I've got all the 2 tall vanilla flowers available in case I want to bone meal them. And I actually forgot to make a soul stone before I came out here. I don't know. Yeah, let me go ahead and warp back over and go craft one of those just really, really fast. Just, what, 4 diamonds, 4 ender pearls. Cool. So let's see if we can find a rock. I do see a Ventoraptor, which is a nice mob, but not the one that I'm looking for. I got a snow. It's daytime, though, so... You know, something that kind of, honestly, strangely bums me out. I've only ever had that one blood moon. Like, long, long ago when I was, like, super weak and had to just wait it out pretty much. Thanks to that Geonock, if I recall. That's been the only time I've ever had a blood moon. Which is kind of a bummer, in fact. Like, I wish there was a way I could just, like, make it night. That would make my life so much easier at this point. But it leads me to believe that the blood moon chance in this pack is extremely, extremely low. Even events, I've only had maybe 5 events in total. And so the chance on those seems extremely low as well. Like, criminally low. Okay, well anyways, back at the base while we await the next nighttime. I have here a Pinky that is trapped, of course, in our little fence system. And I'm going to release him and I'm going to take him up to his cage. And this is what I had to do with Chupacabras. Though Chupacabras were probably a little bit easier, Pinkies are notorious for dealing large amounts of damage. Which is always fun, but I have to eat Chupacabra meat on the way. That's why I've got that in my inventory, just because these mobs do quite a bit of damage. So what we're going to do... Get out of here, Conba. There we go. So now we have a Pinky. And then I just have to repeat that process one more time. Get another Pinky up here. And then we'll be set to breed Pinkies as well as Chupacabras. And just that way we can kill them with the looting sword, because honestly... Pinkies and Chupacabras are both so easy to just get up here as hostiles that it's really not worth not doing it, you know, and not having the opportunity or the ability to use looting if we so desire. So, we'll go ahead and drop a sheep in there. Might take 2. There we go. Yeah, let me go grab one more. But the magnet ring is actually pretty nice for this, because I can gather up all the loot. The one time I like the magnet effect, really, within this pack, I think. Because I don't want to have to jump down in the pens every time I want to collect meat and wool and different things from these guys. So sometimes it takes them a little bit because they're more interested in me, but we should have... Yeah, there's another baby. So we've got 2 babies in there now. Okay, so I've just got to wait for another Pinky, and I need to go replace that dirt just so they'll be blocked in. But I just have to wait for another Pinky to get in my trap, and then we can start breeding Pinkies. But I think this is just going to be better for us, because next episode I think we're going to go ice dragon hunting, make our new, like, perfect sword, our better sword. Wow, I'm already level 30. And I think that would be ideal for us. So right now, pretty much to move on with what I want to do this episode, I have to get a rock to spawn. So, and by the way, on the topic of despawning, these shouldn't despawn. Pinkies and Chupacabras are set up so that they don't despawn. And so far, I haven't ever had my Ariasaurs despawn either. So I'm going to guess that passives and anything that can breed at this point in Lycanites is set up in a way. There was a time when this stuff would despawn. You had to name tag it. But I think everything's set up in a way that it will not despawn. even as hostile mobs. So, even though they're angry. They're so angry about being in that cage, but that's okay. Okay, it's taken a while, but I found a rock. This is the second night, but it's like a good ways into the night. And I've just been running around killing things. So let's get our avian treats ready. He wants more. More. He loves us now. Okay, cool. No, come back. Come back. Ah. This is going to be the worst part. Is trying to get this guy. Just stop. There we go. He has been bound, and we're going to go ahead and set him to follow, assist. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and dismiss him for right now. Awesome stuff. Okay, so now... Okay, of course. As soon as I get one, there's going to be a bunch spawning. That is a 2 strength. There we go. And basically what rocks will do is they'll try to pick you up and just take you up into the sky and drop you. Once you have feather falling 3, they're honestly not a super issue. Truth be told, because feather falling 3 is just so strong. And I can't even imagine what the advanced feather falling would be like within this pack. Because those winds enchantments, if you can manage to get like the really high tier ones and stuff, they seem like they're pretty powerful. And let me pop down here and see if there's any pinkies. Ah, there is. There's a pinky. Cool. Come on, buddy. No. You gotta come... There we go. You gotta come this way. Follow me! And I did do a bit of lighting up around the base. I don't know if you noticed, but... it is a bit more lit up around here. So there's that. I don't really have to go out that way. I can go up this way. That's why I've got the ladder there. Okay, so we got 2 pinkies now. Hooray! Hooray! I'm gonna go sleep real quick. Just to get the sun back up. And I can replace my door now because I don't need this broken. There we go. And let me go fix this dirt real quick also. And my pugs did finally leave the room. They're not crazy about whenever I record. I guess because I'm talking and they like to sleep in this like papasan chair. Basically, it's a papasan chair I bought for... Well, I sit in it sometimes, but mainly I bought it for them just so... Because they need a place to sit in here. But they don't like it whenever I record. So usually they'll come back in once I finish editing, you know. As long as my girlfriend's not home. If my girlfriend's home, then they... if she's asleep, they'll usually be sleeping with her. But... otherwise, they pretty much hang out with me. And she always says it's because they love her more. I think, personally, it's because I work from home, so, you know, they're around me all the time. She doesn't work from home, so she's gone a bit more, so I think that's why. But that's my reasoning. Alright. You guys want another sheep? No, you already made a baby. Cool. Awesome. Oh, these pinkies are so angry. They're just like, let us out. Let us out. But I figured I'd show you the pinky one on camera because it's a little bit more interesting. They do a lot more damage. Chupacabras aren't nearly as much damage. So, okay, so now what I need to do is I need to get my rock set up with, I'm going to get him a chest, a saddle, and some pet armor. I'm also going to grab, no, that's trap chest. Let's see. That's, oh, and saddle. Okay. Miscellaneous junk stuff. Okay, so let's go. I'm gonna do it in here just because it's gonna be maybe. See, it likes to just like fly wild. That's the worst thing about these things. Okay, so with a chest, it gets 5 inventory slots like the Chupacabra. The pinky, of course, gets 10, and there's some that get 15. Maybe it's the dragons, or I think they get 15. For some reason, I'm thinking Cacodemon. Maybe Cacodemon gets 10. I don't think he gets 15. But anyways, we've got our rock all set up. He doesn't have a lot of health. That's fine. I will probably... I might try to get some more rocks tamed and maybe get some better ones. Because rocks, of course, you can't breed. I'm actually going to set him to... Oh, I set him to assist earlier, but defensive is fine. Actually, I'm going to tell him to sit. Passive. He's mainly going to be for us flying around. You can see his cost is 8. He's actually a fairly costly pet on your spirit, so just a heads up. But anyways, our rock, we can fly this bad boy around, and he is quite awesome to fly around. But there's something even better for him. And let me actually check the controls real quick. Okay, it's set to 0. I remember setting that. I just couldn't remember what I set it to because I don't use the Shade's ability too much. The Shade's just so big, in truth, that it's awkward to try to do mounted combat on the Shade because you're like 3 blocks above, ground level, and it's rather awkward trying to use him, in my opinion anyways. But we're going to fly out and let's see. I'm looking for 3 mobs in particular. I'm looking for Yetis, I'm looking for Aspids, I'm looking for Maka. Now, actually, Aspids, now that I think about it, and this mount is actually going to be pretty nice just for travel. We've got the dragon, which is great for combat, but I would like something a little bit smaller for flight, and so I do kind of like having the rock, even though there are some other flying mounts that we're going to be getting into a little bit later that I'm gonna have to go out and hunt, and that I just like more. I'm just more partial to them, let's say, for flying mounts. But the rock is quite nice, and big thank you to Eldest Fletch for bringing this up because it's one of those things like you don't. When you're playing Minecraft with mods, you generally don't think of like every option that you have, and it's like rock. I didn't even think about using this to transport mobs that we're hunting, and so a big thank you to Eldest Fletch for bringing up the rock because it was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that because it's just going to make our lives a little bit easier. That's why I've been kind of just waiting to really push on with farming. That because I was wanting to do some other stuff, but waiting until we get the rock before I bothered trying to bring back Maka, Yetis, and Aspids. So, and I actually found some Aspids near the base the other day, but it's off in the other direction. So, I didn't bring my map with me either, but I usually have a pretty good sense of direction, so I'm not too concerned about that, truth be told. But I think the most worrying thing is going to be if we run into a dragon on the rock, because the rock will get annihilated by a dragon. And I know Aspids can spawn in these little areas. Ugh. I always think that's dragons. Okay, there's an Aspid. So this is going to be a little bit of a process. Yeah, I've got him. Okay. Yeah. But it is damaging my rock. I don't think it's going to be able to kill the rock because what it's doing is poison damage. And I've got this Chupacabra mate. This thing is like really fighting me right now though. Oh, I don't want to go near that Tempest. Oh, this is like dreadfully painful doing this, but that's okay. And basically this is the rock's mount ability because, this is what rocks do. They pick you up and they try to drop you on the ground. And then, of course, they can pick up creepers and drop those too, like little air bombers. I may have to cook up some more Chupacabra meat, but I've got a bunch of it, so that's not really a big issue. I probably don't have to eat once I hit yellow, in all honesty, but I'm just doing that because I feel a little bit safer. But we're almost home. We've almost got this Aspid home. And then I've got to do it one more time, basically. Get one more Aspid back to the base, and then we will be golden. And I'm not always taking damage from this. Oh, I just passed. I wanted to bring them in right here. And I'm going to put... If I can land this thing. Okay, I'll tell you what. There you go. You can just have at it. I know, you're in pain. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But there we go. So we got an Aspid back. So I've just got to basically repeat that process once more. Let's see. I'm just going to cook up like a full stack of Chupacabra meat real quick. And I'm going to get, I don't know, 10 is probably good for the ride there, or the ride back. So I'm going to get that and get another aspid moved over real quick. I'll be back in just a minute. Ah, we're coming in hot! Oh my gosh. These things are a bit of a trip. There we go. Okay. So we got 2 aspids now. You can see the little poison that they leave behind. So those are here. Now we have to go out and we need to find ourselves 2 maca. I know there used to be a bunch over here where that one dragon was. Now if they're dead or not, I don't know. We're going to be going into the ocean here soon as well. I know we've had some requests about that. We are going to be doing some ocean exploration fairly soon. We're going to be taming some ice and fire creatures as well from down there. This is where it gets kind of scary though, because I know there's a dragon that hangs out around here and he will annihilate our rock. Of course, now that we've got it soulstoned, it's not going to permanently die or anything. Oh, it's a gray one too. I need to come over here and kill it for some gray scales, but yeah, here we go. I knew there was some macas around here that I had seen. There we go. These guys are a little bit easier because they're not going to fight back. They're just going to passively just, okay, we'll go with you. It's basically just a process of flying back and forth a couple times. So I'll be back once I get them moved over. Oh, there's actually maca at this little village too. Probably come back to that one. Alright, maca incoming. Here you go. Well, I can actually get these down pretty easy and position them. I'm going to have to build them out a bigger pen, but that's fine because I'm just going to expand it out in this direction. They're not quite as big as Ariosaurs. I feel like the Ariosaurs still need a bigger pen because I bred them earlier. I've got 4 in here. I bred them earlier, and when the baby became an adult, he got pushed out of the pen and was just running around, which means it was slaughter time, which actually could probably work. Just have those in there, breed them, make 2 babies, and then when they become adults, they get pushed out, and then I kill them. But I don't know. I'll probably just make them a bigger pen. Okay, so now probably the tougher of the 3 that we're looking for today, and we do still have some other things we have to capture, but these are the big ones. I want to get Yale, which you will probably spot some Yale around this mountain. Usually they're around snowy mountains like this, but now I'm looking for Yetis. Okay, here's some Yetis, actually. Oh well, they're not even giving us the debuff. So that's cool. That's very good news. And this is actually up near that tree that we came across forever ago with where we first ran into Jabberwockies, or Jabberwocks in this pack. That's where I found the Yetis, so that's good. It's actually not that far of a flight, to be perfectly honest. Oh. That's what I was afraid of. Where am I going? Oh, this is the dragon that's up near the or one of the dragons that's up near the plains. Okay, I'll be back for you guys. Not right this second, but later on. Okay, so I have a green dragon and a gray dragon back here. Okay, well that's good to know. We are coming in for a landing. This place is starting to get pretty big. Alright, these guys will need a bigger pen too, but these are basically more like temporary holding pens, and then we'll get things sorted. Because it's honestly been a long, long time. Mad Pack 2, I think, was the last time that I really did a lot with like Lycanites animal breeding, if I recall. Which has been forever ago. Forever ago? That was like, what, 1.6, I think? Because most mod packs, you have spawners. Or you have like powered spawners, you know, where you can just infinitely spawn the mobs and you really don't ever have to farm. You just make infinite spawners and there you go. And Lycanites is so rare in packs. And I hate it because I love Lycanites. And I wish it was in more packs, but it never really is. Lycanites has always been one of those mods that I wish was just in every single pack. You know, it's just... Because standard Minecraft's mobs are just... They're bland and they're boring and we've seen them a million times. And I just think that mob diversity just adds so much to Minecraft. So, but let me get this other Yeti. Do I want this big pink Yeti? Yeah, let's take the violet Yeti. He's pretty cool. Let's take it. Okay, I got that Yeti back to our base, and I'm going ahead and I'm just cooking up some different meat real quick, because we've actually got a bit of this stuff. The aspids, the pinkies, the maca, the ariosaurs. The only thing we don't have at the moment is Yeti meat, which, granted, there's been a few times where I could have just killed a bunch of them, but I chose not to. But it's time that we breed our Yetis. I'm just going to use wheat because I have tons of wheat. And there's a baby Yeti. A baby Yeti. And then we can breed our ariosaurs. No, they take mushrooms, I think it is. Maca will eat wheat, though. Not meat. They're not meat eaters. And there's a little baby maca. And then let's go... Let's see, I'm going to have to get into setting up for... I know where some mycelium is. We'll probably set up a little mushroom farm type area. Which I'm actually not sure. You know, I've messed with dynamic trees before. I don't think it affects mushrooms, though. Like mushroom trees. I don't think. But we can use brown or red mushrooms for these guys. And then... There we go. There's a little baby aspid. And their pen is a big, nasty mess of no. It is. Okay. And that's the one I dropped. Like, pretty far. Okay, so our Yetis. Let me grab our greatsword out. And I'm just going to kill one of those. We got 3 raw Yeti meat. Awesome. They're like trying to push each other out of here right now. Like the baby is like pushing the mom. It's like, get out of here. Let's escape. Okay, so let's pop back over. I've only got the 3 at the moment, but it's going to be easy to expand. I am going to make a bigger pen. I'm honestly thinking we might... I don't know, because I'm going to start building some walls or sketching out some walls here soon for what's going to go around the base. Actually, there's a couple things I need to show you too. So one thing, and this is really, really cool. I built this, or I think it's pretty cool. So I built this base, you know, whenever we started it, I built this with actually one idea in mind, and we can now start utilizing that. We couldn't really utilize it with the dragons, but if you notice the back and also the front to some degree, the way it's shaped up, the reasoning is because this way we can actually just land our mount on this deck, or we can come in here and we can shop for things, you know, that we might want and do all of our crafting. We can actually just stay on the rock the whole time. And this is kind of the main frame where most of our stuff is located, all of our storage, except for denser storage, which will be upstairs, which we can technically access this with the rock as well. That was the only spot I was kind of unsure about. I was like, I don't know if it's going to be big yet, but yeah, it's big enough. But this area where all of our crafting and stuff is situated, we can access. So I popped in here earlier to grab my antique atlas because I was going a little bit farther away. And so I just kind of have easy access with some of our smaller mounts, which we're going to be using more and more for like normal travel. Dragons are great if you need a sledgehammer, basically. But you don't always, you know, it's like one of those tool things. You don't always need a sledgehammer for everything. And the rock and other Lycanites mobs, the smaller ones, dragons, they're a bit bigger, and we're not going to be able to land those inside of there. We are still going to tame one, though. But I'm thinking the Moroks, I think is their name. They might be small enough that we could land them in here. I'd really like to get one of those here soon. Like the wyvern type creatures. I'd like to get one of those pretty soon. But yeah, so anyways, we can access all this stuff, and we have, you know, if we just want to like swing in and drop things off or whatever, we can do that with the way the base is set up. So just a heads up. So now maybe the big openness aspect of it is starting to make sense, because I built that with heavy Lycanites usage in mind whenever I started that. So okay, so we've got our different meats. So if we combine the cooked Yeti meat, the cooked aspen meat, the cooked pinky meat, the cooked maca meat, and the cooked Aryasaur meat, we can start making battle burritos. A powerful fusion of many tasty treats applies strength, resistance, absorption, health boost, and heals. There we go. And this stuff is kind of like our superfood. It's probably not going to be what I eat all the time. But if we eat this, if we watch our buffs up at the top left, boom, we have resistance 4. We have regeneration 2, rejuvenation 2, strength 4, absorption 4 for 10 minutes, basically. And actually, I'm kind of wondering, since we have a resistance ring, this is actually a common bug with a lot of like buff type things. If you have something that's giving constant effect and you apply something that's temporary, like 10 minutes, in a lot of cases, it won't go away. So since we have resistance, it's going to give it an infinite timer, and there's a chance that it might just stay as resistance 4 even after the 10 minutes run down. Which if so, that's going to be crazy overpowered, but also something we can't really circumvent either, because that's the ring that we're wearing. So I'd either have to just take that ring off to remove it, or just say, okay, well, we've got resistance 4. And now, like, I'm at the point where I really don't die, so it's like pretty much constant effect on one battle burrito, I guess. So, but yeah, this is kind of like a super boss food, basically, because those buffs are just crazy overpowered, right? Like, you can't die at all. You do massive damage, and you take very little damage. So that's kind of like our boss food. And as the farms, as I build these pens out and they get a little bit bigger and we have more, this might even become just our constant food, because it also applies healing, and actually it's got a lot of saturation and stuff in it. It's a pretty powerful food all around. So, okay, a little bit of a bummer, and a couple things. First up, the absorption does carry over to these, so you do get some absorption. Also, I went ahead and I just ran while I was waiting for those buffs to go away, and you'll notice that actually when the timer runs down, you totally lose resistance. So you have to remove and reapply the ring entirely. So kind of a bummer there. Not really a big issue, though, for us. And I did go ahead and run a battle tower, and that's just basically the stuff that I found that I decided to keep, as well as just some junk because the boss blew up the chest and I picked up some junk. But I went ahead and ran a battle tower while I was waiting, while I had those buffs, and we now have the XP to get random crits, the final level of random crits. So now we have all 4 of the major things in this tree maxed, or all 3 of the major things in this tree maxed out. I still want to max out some of these other things, but let's see, 30 level. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get that just yet, but we're getting close to that. I'll probably, well, actually, I've got these, which I could probably use. And honestly, these things right here are the easiest things ever to level because they use exact XP counts instead of just levels. These you kind of have to like aim roughly for the right level, you know? Otherwise you end up wasting a lot of XP. So probably next episode we'll probably max out agility, I think. And then, yeah, and then we'll go from there. But anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. Next episode, we're going ice dragon hunting. That's going to be the goal of the episode. So you can look forward to that. And we're going to try to get a baby ice dragon. But most importantly, we're going to work on getting our ice dragon blood for our good weapons, right? So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button. And go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.